We meet again, and so do me and Gruh. This is the reverse of yesterday's game for Twilight Solomon's 90-minute league. This time I'm USA. Marshall plan looks like a reasonable setup. Containment's not really worth it because I've got two 4-op cards in my hand anyway. I'm obviously out for blood after losing to him yesterday. I say in jest. So the upshot of Marshall plan is that I have Purge. So I'm not going to be purged in a Marshall setup. But socialist governments is a threat. De Gaulle is if they also have duck and cover. But at least then I can get Asia scoring away. So let's go with the Marshall setup. Let's plug in our hand first. Got Purge, got Marshall, got Asia scoring, got Suez. EU, containment, Arab, Israeli, Korea. And we'll open Marshall. Blockade, fine. We punt Suez. It's fine by me. So that's not a bad start for us. We cover Italy, put one in Canada A, and we discard Suez. So we'll see whether or not they fancy the coup on Italy or just go for Iran. We'll be spacing Korean War in a vacuum and then putting one in Lebanon, one in Egypt for Arab-Israeli war in case Israel flips. Okay, so they've got a 4-op card. They go for it. Oh, that's diabolical. Given that I hold Asia scoring, what do we think? I'm going to be risk averse and do that. I think this is always rubbish, and it's definitely a weak spot in my game. I think Patnick told me, don't play into Afghanistan, play into Pakistan. But I feel like if I play 2 into Pakistan, they'll just coup with the China card and obliterate me. So I expect to see here a coup on Iran, and then I counter coup, and then I hope to get into Pakistan first. Which would do fine. Of course, holding Korean War, there's the opportunity to play into South Korea as well, I suppose. I hadn't really thought of. I don't know. And I want to overtake France by the end of the turn as well. There's a lot to be done. Okay, double coup. Clever. So that denies me military ops. And there's a solid flip. But we'll take Lebanon to prepare us for also taking Egypt and then having Arab-Israeli war on our side. And there's time for me to take South Korea and press for domination in Asia, which they might not be expecting. Boo! Well, with Decol, that puts a pin in that. So what we'll do is we'll retake Iran. Because they're not going to be able to dominate Asia immediately. Ugh, they will, because I didn't take another battleground. Oh, I can't count! What an idiot! Well, let's hope they now take Iraq and a feared of Asia more. Oh, that was superb. Oh well, might as well make the game more difficult for myself, given how well I accomplished last game. One mug. Sigh. And if I'm not going to be feeding France before the end of the term, we'll need to put up defectors if I don't get de Gaulle myself. Even socialist governments. So France is at risk too. So there you go. I could have completely canked the bed already. We shall see. So they're thinking, do I take Thailand, or do I deal with Iraq, or do I try and do both things? If they try and do both things, I'll have to take South Korea with the Arab-Israeli war and gamble on Israel, which will teach me a lesson. But instead, I get off the hook. We'll clear Austria for access. Truman's gone. So I drop Asia scoring and breathe a sigh of relief. I even get a VP out of it. Whew. Dodged a bullet. We'll space Korean War and Arab-Israeli war into Egypt and hope not to flip. Although a gambler's option would be to overprotect France with Arab-Israeli war, but a 4-op card still flips it. And there's still US, Japan, and NATO to come out. And the China card. Arab-Israeli war in Egypt protects Israel more and keeps ahead of the curve in the Middle East. So I'm inclined to play there and hope to dodge socialist governments and de Gaulle with either double drawing it or defectors. Okay. I mean, that's fine. They'll take Korea, I take Japan. Oh, they don't. Interesting. They do a bit of motion. Oh, they're going to push into Libya that way, are they? Interesting. That does give me coup target for my Milops as well for later in the term. But we'll take that for now. He still succeeds. Well done. Obviously, NASA's still at play there. I'll still space Korean War, I reckon, because I want to get to the 2-1 square first if I can. And I don't want to event it, and if I do, I have to plan South Korea anyway. And with India, Pakistan, Japan, and potentially Taiwan with Formosa, I'm still in adequate shape, I suppose. Although if they play into Burma... Ooh. Yeah. What are you ditching? You're ditching Europe scoring. You cad. Nicely done. We'll still space Korean War. We don't get off. Not a great first turn. Don't get de Gaulle. Don't get defectors. Don't get socialist governments. Ye gods. Okay. Captured Nazi for the headline. What do we get? NASA, yeah, that makes sense. But they now have to coup on Egypt. If they coup on Iran, I can retake Egypt for at least some presence. Want to be spacing Fidel now because they're already DEFCON threatened by decolling early. Ah, bold. So that will allow me to coup my way into Africa and, alright, so Romanian. NASA's gone. Romanian. Good to get rid of it early, but probably could have done it differently, I suppose. Okay, so it's played. I'm not going to be inventing NORAD, so at least special relationship overprotects France. Well, that's fine. NORAD I can shore up to make them space it. So we'll begin with a coup on Zaire. Oh no, Angola of course protects South Africa. Boom. Rubbish. So we'll do that to start. We'll see if they space NORAD. Good to get IR off first, obviously. So we will pile into Israel to start. We just want to dissuade an ops war in Israel and obviously try and shore it up against Indo-Pakistani war. I don't mind Middle East going for nothing. So next turn we're definitely getting socialist governments and de Gaulle. D-Style still is unaccounted for, which is a problem. But at least you won't have Romanian abdications ops, so that's great. So we're now going to change tack. Start to cause a bit of trouble in Asia. You're going to overgo South Korea? Interesting. So, I don't have quite enough to get ahead in. So we'll do enough just to get there. Yeah, spacing NORAD wise. Nasty card. Doesn't get there. And now I'm going to put Indo-Pakistani War back in the deck. So first of all, I'm going to overprotect France a little. Yeah, okay, so I take Israel to level up. Do I tap Libya? Maybe I tap Libya. I don't get Middle East scoring, which is a bummer, but I do get all the cards that protect Europe, which is nice. So he's holding Vietnam revolts and defectors through the turn. I got socialist governments and de Gaulle. Oh, he got D-Style. That's a bummer. So we will use 5-year plan potentially to pull it out. We had discard. So I got Fidel, Romanian abdication back, along with NATO and 5-year plan and NORAD. So I've got a 1 in 7 chance of spiking D-Star with 5-year plan. The question is if I wait an action round to make it 1 in 6. The difference in probability, a couple of percent, probably isn't worth it. And with no other headline, 5-year plan's alright. So they're going to take a punt on India. And that's kind of why I'm bummered. Unless I get defectors. Superb. No war for you. So they can coup on Iran or Libya or Egypt, but I have time to repair the Middle East. I would have preferred to pull D-Style still. I would have been fine with a 1 in 3 on India to a greater or lesser extent. Although next up will be trying to get into Taiwan to enable Formosa resolution at some point, if Asia scoring doesn't drop first. I'll pop in Greece and Portugal as well for protecting Italy against brush war. And obviously we know there'll be a D-Style coming. I'm going for... oh no, going for a cheap. Alright, so we'll take Panama to prevent D-Style fighting there. And now we have Middle East domination. Probably shouldn't have taken the discount coup, because that now puts them in a pickle in the Middle East. Okay, 1 in 6. Ooh, close enough to taste. What do we think? If we play NORAD, they'll just D-Style into Venezuela straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. We're going to start tapping around in Asia in advance of Formosa resolution. Because we can get up to 8-7 fairly handily. Plus, now if he D-styles into Indonesia... Oh, okay, drops Middle East scoring first. I would have seen D-style to Indonesia being the better shout off the bat. Where are we at now? We will event and repair de Gaulle, but only by the pip, and then we're going to... splash around a little more. No, not there, because he's got no access. We'll take Portugal. Event first. Repair, Portugal, then one in Indonesia. D-style next. I'm certainly expecting at some point, but I'm not going to event remaining application until D-style drops, because I don't want to just hand influence. That's kind of why I've been holding off Comic-Con as well. And I'll be spacing Fidel, just in case I can exploit the Cuban Missile Crisis lone gunman gap. Plus I should get a coup off on Tunisia if I can, just to get some mill-ops. So got Vietnam Revolts, D-Style, and another card. So I'd expect to see D-Style influence out of Finland, Poland, East Germany, Austria, and then one in each of Venezuela, Brazil, Chile, and Argentina, which will make it very hard to realign them out of one side or the other. But it's probably still the best bet to begin. Here it comes. Protect Thailand. Okay, so the imperative is, I guess, to realign out of Chile as quickly as possible for them to then have to hope for Allende. We're going to be cheeky and hold the China card, so let's hope we can do it on the third attempt. Nope. Nope. Always in the last one. Yay! It's always in the last one. So sick. I wouldn't want realignments any other way. It's so boring when you do it on the first roll. So AR5 will probably coup with Romanian abdication or something like that. AR6 will space Fidel or something like that. Yep. Good work protecting against VOA. Boo! Fidel refuses to get into the capsule. And Formosa goes off to space, as it needs to, because of my weird shenanigans in Asia. Of course, he's removed from Tunisia. Neatly done. In which case, my best move is unclear. I suppose it's pummeling North Korea with the China card, potentially. Yeah. Nice. I got Allende. I got a boatload of cards. So spacing decal. Let's add the mid-wall cards. Let's stop talking and start doing. Got ABM. Got NTB. Got RSP. Got Salt. Neutrality is mine. Decal can go to space. Allende can sit in my hand. And Nixon potentially buys back the China card. Okay, so if I don't want to purge him, I might want to purge him. Yeah, purge, missile envy, nuclear test ban, raise DEFCON, I still have ABM. Time for a purge. It's mean, but I'm also ops rich enough to make it happen. So he'll splash around in Central America. It's one way to get to Cuba. Now I probably don't want to be salting. Going for the 2-op coup. Bold. It worked. So, the easiest way to respond is just to move into Cuba knowing they can't get hold of Fidel for a while. The gambler's way to respond is to ABM on Panama. But I also want access to South America. So what we're going to do instead is coup on Guatemala, deny domination, and threaten a 2-1 realignment. With no scoring cards to play, we've got a limited amount of time we can faff around. We also want to secure North Korea. But they've done it, which is fine. Right, so we will... God, we've got so many options. But we'll start by ABMing South America, because we don't want to get missile envied. Nice. Now, if we're feeling sassy, we could salt and get ABM back. For now, we're just going to realign him out of Mexico. Oh, I spoke too soon. There it goes. Last realign. Let's take the Hail Mary on Panama. Nope. If we were feeling really sassy, we'd salt ABM with them purged. But I think we could just play risk averse and play into Mexico. Fine, that could have been worse. Right. We'll overprotect Angola from South African unrest and Portuguese Empire. We'll space decal, but I'm holding off spacing just in case we get one small step jumped. And obviously we won't event IND. Okay, great. Where did the op go? Oh, to overprotect, fine. So we will put one in South Africa as well. Just to stay ahead of South African unrest, amongst others. We can have another pop at North Korea when the China card flips back up, if we want to, if Asia scoring doesn't drop. It's the easiest way to affect domination. Well, unless we see shuttle diplomacy, which is a good event. In fact, shuttle diplomacy becomes a pretty strong eventable card in that situation. A bare minimum OPEC there. I'm never really happy doing it for such few points. Alright, we're going to event and repair socialist governments first. And we're going to space decol last, because I just don't want to see one small step. And a chance to event and repair. SOCGov is worth seizing. I just expect to see 2 France, 1 West Germany here. Yeah. Standard event and repair. It's overly risk averse because I could have spaced decol and then hope to space SOCGov to get to the 2-0 space. I don't know. Sweet. Event and repair Panama. And decol goes off to space. So, don't want to get stung by one small step if we can avoid it. We may hold on to Africa scoring because Voice of America might do a lot of damage there. And nuclear subs. And we're unconcerned about DEFCON generally because of CIA being gone. So nuclear subs might be the headline here. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. VOA. Containment. Cultural Revolution and Brezhnev. Yeah, getting Quagmire would kind of suck here. But we'll go nuclear subs. We're going to clean up Dodge. No Quagmire. Well, they got Brush. Are they going to go Italy or are they going to go somewhere else? Somewhere else. That having been scored makes me less upset, especially as I can puppet into Argentina. Given we're holding Culture Revolution, we'll use the China card as a coup card. Because we've still got Yasuri in the pack. Yeah, snagging those Veeps. So Zaire is unpalatable. Soon Nigeria will be. Then Algeria. And we'll move on down the line. Ideally, control of Africa is the goal here. But Algeria will be the sticking point. We'll probably use a 2-op card on Nigeria because puppet governments allows us to hop into it. So shouldn't be keen to immediately coup back, given the circumstances of DEFCON being at 3. Let's see if they make that error. Thinking. It's going influence, which is good. So we'll puppet governments straight away and make them coup Argentina. As well as move into Vietnam for proximity to Thailand. That's a shame. Spoils the puppet government aim right now. Oh, self-trapping. Bold. Must be wanting to get rid of grain sales. Where do we want to coup on? We want to coup on Nigeria. This is why you don't trap. We'll take Chile. And dominate Africa for scoring. Oh dear. So we're going to take Africa scoring. Yeah, now's as good as ever. Out with shuttle dip, which is a good card for them to end up ditching on. We'll take a coup on Panama, because the other one scored. That's not bad. They are likely to counter coup Panama as their best option. And we'll hold VOA through the turn, because we can leverage some damage with it in the headline phase if we drop influence out of Thailand. Oh, interesting, influence. They want DEFCON to be at 4. Or we both get a coup. So I'll coup once more. I do enough. That was not a pleasant round for him. Sadly, we do not get Central America scoring, but we do get a fair amount of problem cards for them. With DEFCON at 4, it's slightly different. With Flower Power, We Will Bury You and Muslim Revolution out, Missile Envy's the headline, I think. And I might get an opportunity to use one of them. Come on, have a 4-opper. Headlining a scoring card is always dicey. Will they dodge bullets? They will not. We'll keep DEFCON at 4. We'll tap for domination. We're going to add 2 to Panama. That's a bummer for them. So now they have to coup with Missile Envy, which I'll expect them to find unpalatable. We'll look to Space Willy Brand at some point soon, because one small step is increasingly likely to be in their hand. And will you an intervention IND to get out of my hand? Yeah, headlining scoring cards is dicey. Don't recommend it. So keeping DEFCON high, I get coup counter coup. Okay, so we'll just take Panama and offer the coup counter coup. I'm fine with that. Especially as we've got Junta and OAS. Obviously, if the coup fails, I can event duck and cover, because I can pick up Milops elsewhere. But the world is looking pretty blue. Here it comes. Very successful. Let's go the other way. Let's put 2... No, let's put 2 into Panama and coup with it. Let's be utterly risk averse. 4, 5, 5 or 6. Boom. No. Well, that was me being greedy. If they take Panama, I can take Cuba with duck and cover. And I've still got OAS for shenanigans. So that puts Ortega into play, but I'm currently quite low down the slippery pole of space. He gives me 2 VP, so I'll space Willy now. 3 VP, sorry. Space Willy. Please hit. Dang it. Okay, so now one small step gives them 2 VP. So we've just got Europe scoring still to come out. Did it come out turn 3? It did not. Okay, so we're expecting it next turn. Well, pretty much next turn, right? Because I'm going to be using all the cards in my hand. 15. Yeah. Fine, fine. We'll just use UN on Allende and keep ticking up in Israel. We've still got Camp David to go. And I'll be using VOA to round out the term. So we'll do things like pluck 1 out of Asia for domination, pluck 1 out of Panama for presenceless domination, and 1 out of Argentina, and maybe 1 out of Israel to seal the deal. But first OAS. I'll be giving up Milops this turn. That's gone. That's not Campground. Haven't seen any of those. Don't think I've seen any of those, although I've not been paying as much attention as I should have been. We're at the end of turn 6, and we've been, what, 53 minutes on the clock. That's alright. Decent clip. 48 minutes, according to my video player. Oh yeah, because we've got simultaneous clock some of the time. Alright, anyway. This game is shaping up in such a way that DEF CON is going to be likely the only way USSR wins. Especially with Camp David undoing some of their hard work. Both into Israel? Oh no, split. Okay. So we'll... Oh no. Will I? No. I have to use VOA now. And then use OAS. AR7. So they'll get a chance to repair Asia. But I can then put a hurt on them in Central America. I'm just trying to create as many crises in as many areas as possible. So you've still got Arsenal and grain sales to come out. But Muslim Rev is going to do me some damage. Because Egypt and Libya will flip. Okay, well, getting the China card's a bonus. Interesting. Yeah. Preparing for Muslim Revolution, which they may have in their hand. I say it's very likely they have it in their hand. So let's hope we get arse-knotted away Lone Gunman. Especially now the reshuffle's been. Grain. Got lost 1 small step as well. U2 Korea. Kitchen lads. Special relationship, missile MV. Oh yeah, OAS has gone right. So, having not been paying 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Having not been paying attention, I think the opponent's holding 11 cards, which we know isn't the case. So I've missed some come and go. Right, regardless of what they start with, I guess grain sales is likely to be our headline. Special relationship. Missile MV. Came back in the reshuffle. And the rest of these. Yeah, we'll headline grain sales. I strongly expect they'll headline Muslim Rev, but I thought we haven't seen Flower Power or Muslim Rev. And we have to hope Sadat comes to our rescue. Well, headline grain sales. I got quogged. Dang. Do I pull Muslim Rev? I don't. I do get Cuban Missile Crisis. And I can coup with it. What do we like? I may event it in a bid to get rid of Lone Gunman. Now, if he's got sense, he'll event Fidel if he's been dealt it, knowing what my plan is. If we see Flower Power go, we can event Missile Envy to defuse Muslim Revolution. Once I'm out of the Korg, obviously. So the Middle East is going to flip red. But other areas are still in decent shape. Yeah, repair, repair, repair. Be good. Out in one. Some of us are luckier than others. Dang it. So we will not drop Lone Gunman yet. Understandable. They'll have to event Sadat. Oh, that's why they didn't boot us out, so that's fine. Oh, this is where I do wish I had been paying attention. Have we seen Flower Power go in a previous turn? Sorry while I scroll back through these. It's my bad. No. Turn 5. No. No, turn 4, please. Turn 4. Sorry, people. Turn 4. Panama Canal, Nepal, Southeast Asia, South America, China, Suez. When on earth? Oh, okay. What do we think? We can headline Missile MV and should be dealt Flower Power. Oh, there we go. That's one of the things I didn't track very well. Warsaw Pack's gone. Yeah, great. So that's fine. I get a 2 for 4 deal here. So we'll pump Libya. to which they'll be unable to fully respond, and then I can take Lib with U2 incident to level up the Middle East. So once I take Libya, we'll look to event kitchen debates and trigger lone gunmen. Knowing that they can't coup. So that wasn't so bad, as the back and forth goes. Obviously, if they ask not, I just ditch lone gunman because the reshuffle's been and gone. Okay, spacing ask not is hopeful. I guess now we trigger lone gunman, right? Because we don't want Fidel to come out now. But I think they're holding two of the three cards I've got: Arab-Israeli War, South African Unrest, and Sadat. Now, I think Arab-Israeli War they played at one point, didn't they? And rolled a 5. So I think South African Unrest and Sadat are their last two cards. Okay, great. So we will pop one in South Africa in anticipation of South African Unrest. And we'll get a coup off on Uruguay to get Milops because they can't. And obviously they have headline peaking, but we'll just not do anything silly. Lads is probably a decent peaky headline. Although now, I may not be able to do that. Well, I can keep kitchen debates, I guess. And with Sadat, they're not going to be able to do anything of particular importance. So at 2 ops, Ortega's not going to come into play either. Back to 10-7 on the tracker. Now I finally caught up. So what happened with that Sadat op? 1 in North Korea for overprotect, that's fine. So we will coup Uruguay to get 2 VP. And now the late war cards come in. I do not get war games. AWACS is fine for dominating the Middle East. Emit is obviously great. Spacing Libthy's fine. We'll do AWACS to put them under pressure in the Middle East. The problem with duck and cover is it's DEFCON suicide risk. Central America, I've got liberation theology. Junta's a problem. AWACS just adds another dimension of trouble in another region. So even though it's effectively 2 for 2, because putting 2 in Saudi costs the same, it's not something they can defend against in the headline phase easily. And it's just about pressure again, in my opinion. So, Central America scoring, nuclear test ban. And my neutrals, I've got emit, duck and cover. We'll definitely event emit to fish out some nasty cards. Live the Sock Gov Arab Israeli War. Live the Sock Gov Arab Israeli War. Did I get? I got no late war cards. They got Aldrich, but aren't going to do an awful lot of damage to me. They'll probably take away Emit or Central America scoring, but there's nothing they're leaving me with that I'm particularly unhappy about. So that's fine by me. Depending on how the scoring cards, this might run to final. Or they might run into war games. They're unlikely to get DEFCON now. So final seems like likeliest. Final followed by VP Tracker or war games for me. Okay, so he's ditched Central America and is going for the coup. With Thatcher the Betrayer. It fails. So we will take Saudi and entrench the Middle East again. And obviously Socialist Governments is now playable because of Thatcher the Betrayer. So we'll be spacing Libthi and now playing through the rest of the cards. That was probably the wrong card to coup with there, because obviously it turned a 0 into a 3. And this is... What do we think? Kitchen debates first, because the landscape might change. Syria has to go to space because I'm holding the China card. Whiffs. So we'll space Libthi. Also whiffs, not a problem. I'm fine with that. I'm not looking to do anything in space now apart from not run into Ortega. So, event emit, coup Uruguay for our mill ops, and then I've got 6 ops to splash around with. If I get a decent coup off on Uruguay, I can try and realign Argentina. But I think we're running down the clock here now. With Lone Gunman gone, this game is pretty much, I'd say, 99% US here. I just don't see how the US can lose in this position. Okay, so we'll start protecting our battlegrounds against the Reformer. One in Greece wouldn't hurt for brush war. I'll do that next. But like I said, we're unquestionably eventing emit because it's just so strong. South America scoring, plus nasty red cards like the Reformer coming out would be grand. Worth a punt. Looking for VPs now. Getting desperate. So we will event emit now. We want Africa and Middle East scoring. We don't want Ladakh. We don't want Portuguese Empire. And because we want to reduce variance, a 2-op card that's playable by either side can stay in the deck. So we've lost Ladakh and Portuguese. And emit's now gone. And they used Iran-Iraq War. Also gone. Fine. So one in Greece to cover brush war on Italy. Another one in Angola just to prevent a saucy flip, even if there'll be -1 on rear line. Yeah, so they're just shoring up their own stuff, which is fine by me. Cool on Uruguay to finish. Unless they do something particularly sassy. But we're still well ahead of War Games. And still have no DEFCON suicide risks, thanks to Ortega being so low. Oh, boo! I mean, you know, now Ortega's playable, not just spaceable. So there is that going for it. Big coup. Perfect. So now we can threaten the rear line there. Wheelberry will need to go to space. Their headline peaking. But what can they do in Africa? ABM, they'd have to coup Sudan to stop me having domination anyway. Decol. Decol's an option in Africa. But I think I'm inclined to just play Africa scoring and see whether I can do something in South America. Let's headline Africa scoring and see what they can do. After saying don't headline a scoring card. OPEC. Terrorism. I got the Cambridge 5 after all that waffle about it not being a bad card to get. 8 cards. 8 cards. Yeah, fine. So Decol is pretty much their only play unless they ABM treaty coup Sudan to deny domination. But either way, it's not good for them. And then we'll see what happens in South America, but I should be able to get that off hopefully cheaply. Then I can just event Solidarity in Poland, continue to make their life a nightmare there. I don't really even need to use terrorism. But I may try and hold it through the next turn. Yuri and Samantha AR7. OPEC still worth 3. I can peg it down to 2 by tapping Iraq. But We Will Bury You has to go to space. And they may try and get a coup off somewhere like the Middle East. They may try and coup on Libya to level up there. Or shut my mouth. Ah, a worthy attempt. That will cause some trouble. Well, they're in for a treat. But since I'm at 16, I'm still above the War Games threshold. And I'll do it before I get realigned out of Uruguay and spend another 2 VP. Meanwhile, the rest of the board is still a nightmare to them. So we'll wave away those 8 VP. And continue to make waves elsewhere. So now I think it's likeliest to come down to final. unless I get dealt war games and stay above threshold. But as the board is currently laid out, I'm still going to win in final. Okay, so we will not give them OPEC just yet. We can afford to top up. He may drop Middle East scoring to save a point now. I'm looking to hold the China card through turn 10 so I can just double tap Thailand for domination in Asia as well. Oh, he's going to start an Ops war. Alright. We're going to give OPEC at 3 VP in favour of maintaining Middle East domination. We may get Formosa resolution for Taiwan to swing that in final, if we're lucky. We don't need to event solidarity, but it's always fun to event solidarity. But an ops war in one region when you need to swing 3 regions on the board is an uphill battle. Of course, I could hold We Will Bury You through the turn and just sacrifice 3 VPs to deny a game-changing coup. For example, with Liberation Theology and Junta in the stack, We Will Bury You denying a Mexico coup is actually quite sassy. We'll overprotect France again against the Reformer. We don't need to terrorize them. And Middle East scoring's come out now as well. So yeah, may hold We Will Bury You. What's the worst case scenario if we hold We Will Bury You? There's no other DEFCON drop-in cards for USSR. Gets off to space. We'll make a wee nightmare. And then AR7, we do not have a valid coup target. Which is a bummer. So we may tap. Oh, okay, well if this... Oh, well, that's perfect timing for me. That gives me something to do with my AR7. So we may well event We Will Bury You here to drive down, unless I get... Oh, I've got war games, which is nice. So that's a reason not to event We Will Bury You, but instead tear down this wall, which also drops DEFCON. So, should respond with a card that scores more than 1 VP. Glasnost. Has to be Glasnost, which also has the advantage of raising Defcon. Okay, the jig is up. So we pop 3 in East Germany. We have a big old coup on Poland to drop Defcon. Boom. Big enough, big enough. And now, if Glasnost doesn't come off right now, the game's over. So with the Reformer in my hand, I was going to snag it in final anyway, right? Asia domination, Europe domination, likely Africa domination, Middle East domination. Central America now can't be controlled. So yeah, I win in final anyway. But let's see what happens first. But yeah, if I've counted the cards right, only Glasnost gives 2 VP. And he needs to vent it, which then gives me a coup, which is unpalatable anyway. Raising Defcon. Sassy. Very sassy. Okay, so we'll now not aim to win with war games. We will instead drop Defcon back to 2. Yep, okay. So, well avoided war games. We'll be spacing Decol and holding the Reformer. Well, we'll be spacing one of those. Good time to Stitch Asia scoring. Oh. I can't... Yeah. That's fine. I don't really want a +1. I'd be plus... Oh no, +2 Summit is too rich a gamble for my blood. Let's just see this out. If they do something to give me another point, I'll take it. But I'm not going to gamble to win in war games when I'm guaranteed the win in final. Pretty much guaranteed the win in final. Let's not count our chickens before they've hatched, but I don't see Europe, Africa, and the Middle East being converted in short order. Oh yes, I should finish taking Poland. Should scroll up my screen quicker. So I expect T1 going to Thailand here, but The China card will still tap one of those 3 battlegrounds. But they've done well to avoid losing by war games. What other cards are there that give? There are still cards out there that give you SVPs. So, if that happens, I'll still claim war games, because I'm cold-hearted. But I think the game's been pretty much a lock since I managed to ditch Lone Gunman under Cuba. Yeah, that ain't gonna cut it. So we'll spend the bare minimum of ops. Even less than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we're fine. So we'll just spend the 1 for Summit to take Poland. Yeah, fine. Still unlikely to cut it in the great scheme of things. So I'll start causing trouble in other regions. What they've also forgotten is I have the opportunity to tap Chile. They've overprotected all their other battlegrounds in South America. Oh, now I get an AR8. Not that I can do a lot with it. Okay. We'll pump Chile. Start making life difficult there. Not for very long. It's probably going to be repaired. We may use the Reformer AR8. Because we're far enough ahead in Europe, we can event and repair it. And then hopefully have ops to spare elsewhere to do something else. But I think AR7's prime objective will be to tap Asia. There's just too much to do. Well, that's unfortunate. So we'll say South America. So they now have to hope to realign Chile. At +1. Ooh. Nice. So, we're at AR7. They've got 9, 14 VP versus my 8, 12, 16 VP. 18 VP? I don't know. Okay. So, I do that. And then I don't really need to do that. So I've got 6, 10, 16, 24, 27 versus their 1, China. 10, 15. So I'll finish winning by 11. Fine. Let's send the decolonialists off to space. And that's the game. Thanks for watching. Feedback always welcome for both sides. And I will see you sometime in the next month when I seek to wrap up the Itzel League period. And there's some more Twilight Soul games coming up as well. So I'll see you when I see you.